Heartbreak turned to hope about just how invasive this virus can get, and quickly. Imagine not one, but both parents are rushed to the hospital, and you, their child, are tasked with making an unbearable decision of choosing just one of them to get plasma therapy to try to improve their condition. Tonight, as the race to find a cure and treatment continues, a call to action for those who have beaten COVID-19. Your plasma has real potential to save lives. Our Kaylee Hartung leads us off with this ABC News Live exclusive about hope, science, and resilience.
No vaccine yet, no magic drug, no miracle cure.
It was like one hit me and then the other. And so by that night, I was pretty an emotional wreck.
The harsh cruelties of coronavirus can hit families incredibly quickly.
If I would have lost either one of them, it would have been like half my world gone.
With both of your parents on ventilators, could you imagine that we would have been having this conversation now?
No.
One after another, within 24 hours, both of Heather Griffin's parents went into the ICU and were quickly put on ventilators.
I lost my communication with them. So I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't see them. It was heartbreaking. I cried for 2 days because I was so scared.
Connie and Marvin Griffin have been married for 33 years.
She's like the glue to the family. My dad's a big jokester. He's a big prankster.
They rarely leave each other's side. After raising 2 kids, they were enjoying being grandparents to Heather's 4-year-old daughter when they both fell ill, leaving their family desperate for a lifeline.
Dr. Cologne had called me and offered up the plasma treatment for her.
Doctors are trying to rapidly determine whether plasma from people who have beat COVID-19 can be donated to help people who are sick.
We're drawing antibodies from people who have gone over this infection, essentially passing that immunity over to the patients that are going through this infection to be able to help them fight off the virus.
The immune system produces antibodies to help fight viruses. 3 to 4 weeks after a person recovers from coronavirus, their plasma, which is the yellow part of our blood, can be drawn to see if it has those coveted antibodies. If it does, those antibodies can be injected into someone else's body who may be struggling to produce them. The treatment, known as convalescent plasma, was first used to combat the Spanish flu in 1918.
Thus far with plasma, and from all the history that we have seen with this therapy, it appears that it is much more likely to help than it is to harm when used correctly.
Dr. Roberto Colon leads the team pioneering this possible treatment at Premier Health Systems in Dayton, Ohio. His hospital, one of the first in the country to use the FDA-authorized plasma test protocols. They use the methods developed by the Mayo Health Clinic.
In a span of about 2 weeks, we were able to bring an idea of convalescent plasma all the way from concept to actual implementation and widespread use for an entire community.
While Dr. Colon's team was racing to implement the program, the calls for donors began circulating on social media.
I just answered this little flyer that I saw on Facebook.
Lindsay Heiko is an ER nurse in Cincinnati. She's among the 80% of people who get coronavirus only experience mild symptoms and recover fairly quickly.
Being an ER nurse, I feel like I should have been out there and I should have been at work and I should be helping everybody. So it was nice that I could do this.
She made the 1-hour drive to Dayton's community blood bank and became just the second recovered COVID patient to donate plasma there. Those valuable 2 hours at the clinic had the potential to change 4 patients' lives.
And from the time that collection is done until processing, we're usually able to infuse it by as early as the next day.
The question, who would receive the blood bank's first shipment of plasma? With both parents on ventilators, Heather felt like she was faced with an unimaginable choice.
My first question was, how am I supposed to pick between my mom and my dad?
Marvin was responding well to a rather simple treatment plan, being rotated onto his stomach. It's called prone positioning, and it helps increase the amount of oxygen that can get to a patient's lungs. So the decision was made. Connie would receive the experimental treatment.
The signs that this treatment is working will typically be that within 72 hours or so, we start seeing clinical improvement for these patients.
What was your reaction when you learned of the decision that your children had to make?
was very overwhelmed that they had to make that decision. But happy that she had the strength to do it.
Connie had the incredible strength to talk with us just 2 weeks after the plasma transfusion that may have saved her life.
Do you think you'd be where you are today if it wasn't for that plasma treatment?
No, I don't know that I'd have made it without that treatment.
6 days after receiving the plasma, Connie was taken off the ventilator. 9 patients at Premier Health have now received convalescent plasma therapy.
We have been seeing glimmers of hope that this is working. We want to make sure that we hold that judgment until we get the aggregate data.
Access to this experimental treatment is not as easy to get throughout the country as it is in Dayton. The Mayo Clinic telling ABC News the country needs more donors and more distribution of plasma. Nearly 1,500 hospitals nationwide are participating in Mayo's program. Doctors believe this treatment could help at least 1,200 patients right now, but only 25% of them have actually received a transfusion.
So this is an interesting disease because the more people that become afflicted, the more potential donors we have. As we get more of those people getting over this disease.
As more and more people nationwide join the ranks of the recovered, the hope is blood clinics and hospitals are ready to handle an influx of heroes like Lindsay. She wants to donate once a week, as long as she has the antibodies that can help.
So you just feel hopeless and like there's nothing that you can do about it. Please go out and donate your plasma because there's so much that we can do about it.
Lindsay will never know whose lives her plasma helped save. Most plasma donations remain anonymous, but she says that's okay. Because Lindsay and Connie both got involved in Premier's plasma program so early, there's a 50-50 chance Lindsay's plasma went to Connie.
I know that you don't know who your donor is, but if you could give that person a message, what would you say to them?
I was so thankful that you gave the donation of life, because that's what it was for me. And if they hadn't donated, then I wouldn't have had the possibility. I just thank them very much.
They don't know what they've given back to me, because for a moment, I really thought I was losing half my world.
Over the weekend, Marvin, strong enough to go home.
I'm only here to be hugged. I ain't seen you forever.
Greeted by his granddaughter with a question.
Where's Mama?
Where's Mama? Now they'll wait together for Connie to return.
Hopefully for too long, I'll get to come see you.
Yes.
Connie, what's the first thing you want to do when you get out of that hospital?
Go sit on the front porch somewhere. Sit outside. Some fresh air. Some sunshine. And just be with my family.
Love you.
Love you.
I'll see you later.
To see my husband and my kids and my granddaughter would be the most wonderful thing.
You blew Mama kisses? Oh, thank you.
No.
You tell her how you love her?
I love you.
I love you so much.
What a sweet story. I just got goosebumps. Kaylee joins us now. Kaylee, how's Connie doing?
Lindsay, I just got an update from Heather. 19 days after Connie was put on a ventilator fighting for her life, just 2 weeks after she received that plasma treatment, today, she tested negative for COVID-19. She has rehab and therapy ahead of her, but she is one step closer to getting back on her front porch and with her family.
Just wonderful news. So sweet seeing her talking with her granddaughter. So let's drill down for a moment on these treatments, though. It's still being studied, and there's still not enough donors at this point.
That's right. When you hear the Mayo Clinic say there aren't enough donors, it gets us back to the conversation about the lack of testing in this country. Right now, if you don't have a confirmed case of COVID-19, you're not even eligible to donate. So that takes us to a new conversation we're having about the prevalence of these antibody tests. Now, critics are saying there are a lot of them on the market that haven't been proven reliable, but if we can successfully identify all of the people who have antibodies to this virus and didn't even know they had it in the first place, well, that tremendously increases the pool of people who could potentially have a life-saving impact like you're seeing here.
So again, another example of testing being so key. And Kayla, you of course have recovered now from COVID-19 and you wanted to donate. And what happened when you tried to do that?
And so it's been a frustrating process. What you see Premier Health doing in Dayton, Ohio, they've localized the process. They're doing it quickly and efficiently because they've cut out any sort of middleman. Me being here in Los Angeles, it's been a very frustrating process. I have spent hours on the phone calling hospitals, asking how I could help, and they kept pointing me to the Red Cross. So it was more than 2.5 weeks ago, I first filled out an online donor request form on the Red Cross's website. It was just a couple of days ago that I finally got a call back. And they said now, because I am more than 28 days symptom-free, I'm eligible to donate. I am going to a blood center tomorrow, but they tell me there is still a health screening there. There is still a chance that I won't be able to help, but I am hopeful. I am so hopeful that I will be able to, Lindsay.
We'll be optimistic. Kaylee, thank you so much for bringing us that story. We appreciate it.